Alright guys, mic check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are we okay? Can you hear me? Mic check. I remembered. We good? Alright guys, welcome to the live stream. Thank you very much for joining. It is good to be here. As you guys are aware, a lot is obviously going on at the moment, and I really want to kind of get into a number of topics here today. I want you guys to know that my original plan for this live stream was to talk about the police report regarding Onision's and Kai's children and their family, and you know, I received some feedback from people who I guess don't like me, and also some people who do like me as well. A number of different people saying that maybe I shouldn't really cover that today, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that they're right. Whilst I think it's interesting to talk about things like this, I do feel like, especially when we're talking about such awful things, we need to make sure we're doing it for the right reason, and I don't want to really take advantage of someone else's pain or misery, and especially like talk about something that people have already really talked about. I've noticed that there have been almost like there are loads of commentary channels really discussing this already, and I'm sure you guys have heard a various commentator talk about it, so there's no point me sitting here today and just repeating what they're repeating in my own way, even if I do offer something perhaps a little bit different from that. I don't really feel like that's worth your time, and I don't really feel like it's worth my time either. But what I would like to say is I was appalled to hear about the police report and read it. It made me very, very upset, as I'm sure it made a lot of you guys upset as well. But I really want to focus on some of the things that I think are being overlooked today. Things that people are seeming to kind of miss out on. And I think one of the big things that I really want to say just about that before I move on to what I'm actually going to talk about today is, whilst a lot of people are saying, oh, it's Onision's fault, it's Onision's fault. You're right, yeah, it is Onision's fault. But I've seen very few people say, oh, it's Kai's fault. If you're going to blame, I feel like you've got to blame both parents for that situation. Thank you very much. But it's like, I think it's both parents you've got to really look at that with that. And you know what's funny as well? I remember when I did my my Patreon, when I like reviewed their Patreon stream together. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I remember there was a lot of people in my stream who were saying, you know, what are they doing? Why are they, you know, who's looking after the kids right now? Who's looking after the kids? And I didn't really pay those comments much mind, because I assumed that the kids were just like in the other room playing with some toys, that they were fine and everything. But upon hearing about this, and considering that those podcasts were actually going on around that time, if you guys don't recall, Onision and Kai used to do Patreon podcasts together, and I reviewed one of them, and that was around that time. So it's like, it makes me feel really, really shitty. Not that I've done anything wrong, or any of us have done anything wrong, but it's like, these parents have just been sitting around making fun. Well, Onision's just been making fun of Kai and joking about Kai and doing all this ridiculous content, making all of these inappropriate jokes on the internet, and it's like, shouldn't you be taking care of your fucking family, my dude? Shouldn't you be taking care not just of your children, but your partner as well, your entire family, your dog, for crying out loud? Yeah, that's like the real issue, and it's like a new low for him. It's like a new low. Like, you don't think that these people could ever steep any lower than what they've already hit, and it's like they somehow do it, and yet we are the ones who are ridiculous. We're the haters. We're the ones who are bandwagoning and just hating to hate because it's cool to hate. No, it's actually so moronic that anybody would feel that way, would believe that dribble, that we actually caring about other human beings and actually caring about your infantile, idiotic, and dangerous behavior and wanting it to stop or change. But yeah. So yeah, I don't want to sit and I'm not going to read anything about it. I'm not going to talk at length about it. I feel so sorry for those kids, man. But I do stand by what I said in previous live streams. I don't think everybody should be calling CPS, and I will reinforce that. You know, does that really help CPS if they're getting like called every day or every week with the same concern? You know, some people may think so, but I don't really believe that. I don't think that's logical. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Like the CPS know, the police know from these reports. It's, you know, I don't think you being, you know, somebody on the internet can really make that much of a difference in this now. It's really up to these groups, you know, the police and the sheriffs and you know, CPS themselves, to actually do something. Just yeah, sucks. Anyway, so one thing I did really want to talk about today, this is kind of the major thing that there's also something else that's quite interesting that I want to get into, which I'm really not surprised on, by the way. That other thing is going to be talking a little bit about one of the alleged victims, Sarah, and about her laptop and phone that had been discussed prior by many commentators. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But I really want to start off by talking a bit about Kai. And a lot of people have been wondering where Kai is recently. And I've been really thinking about that myself. I don't know about you guys, but it's like Kai's been very, you know, non-existent on social media. Hasn't been making videos, hasn't been creating content, hasn't been seen in any of Onision's videos. And it kind of makes me wonder, you know, is Kai looking after the children? maybe so these days, perhaps? That's actually something I kind of presumed when I heard about what happened to their child. I assume that maybe that's why Kai hasn't been on as much. Maybe Kai's been taking care of that child. But I obviously don't know whether that's true or not. And I guess that would just be an assumption at best. But it's, I mean, I think that's what any mother here would do if their child went through something like that. They would be spending a lot of time with them, really trying to take care of them and get and nurse them back to health. So, yeah, maybe. But obviously we got a comment in the chat from Midnight Oil saying Greg's keeping Kai under lock and key to make sure he doesn't fuck up. See, you know, that's interesting because I actually think that if any of these individuals are the fuck up, I mean, obviously Kai has fucked up and has actually done criminal activity, right? But Onision is the one who countless times, over and over again, just does idiotic, stupid, and downright just egregious things. They're both really as bad as each other, aren't they? Thank you, SW. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Awesome, guys. Rock and roll. Yeah, Kai's fucked up. Greg is fucked up. Yeah, we go. But it's like, you know, where is Kai? You know, is Kai going to be coming back to social media? Is Kai done? Because my original thought, before I heard all of this stuff about the child, right? I assumed that Kai couldn't handle the pressure of everything anymore, right? And you can understand that, can't you guys, as viewers? Like, if you were getting the kind of hate that they were getting, and I'm not saying that the hate is, like, misplaced, it's not, right? But if you were getting that kind of negativity from a job or from the internet, in any kind of community or whatever, right? From school, you'd probably switch schools. You'd probably leave that job. You'd probably stop being involved in that circle of friends if they're being that you know, negative, right? So it's the same way with the internet. I kind of assume that Kai wanted to take a step back away from social media because Kai couldn't handle the pressure of being married to Onision, right? Yeah, and I do want to reiterate that. I don't believe that the hate is misplaced, right? I do think there are some people who take it too far, and I'm sure we can all agree on that. There's one thing to literally harass people constantly, and there's another thing to just disagree with them and state your disagreement here and there. Harassment and criticism, I feel like, are two different things. It's very important. Yeah, and yeah, exactly, Mira. I don't think that Kai could handle all of what he has done, all the things that he's allowed to happen with Onision. I think there's lots of reasons, but the main reason is that like Kai just can't take the heat anymore of what's going on, what they've been involved in, what Onision's been involved in, all of this stuff. And this is all allegedly, by the way, guys. Please make sure you remember that. You know, all of the allegations against them. Thing is, I don't like talking about allegations as if they are true, but I assume you guys are all aware that they're allegations. And no worries, Mira. I purposely corrected you as to, you know, help out if I could. Brock, unfortunately, I'm actually not going to talk about that in my live stream. I do not want to like gain from that situation. I don't want to talk about that. It's just not. A lot of people have already done it. I don't want to gain support and views off the back of child abuse. So, yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that subject today, and hopefully you can all understand that, as it's not something that is nice to really talk about. But yeah, so you didn't miss much, Rocky. It's good to have you here. But yeah, so obviously Kai's kind of gone, and it came up recently that neighbours had actually called the police and let them know that they haven't seen Kai in a long time, and that they presume Kai to be missing. And this is quite a serious thing, because you don't really usually expect that kind of stuff to come out, like people saying, oh yeah, you know, like, especially my neighbours wouldn't give a shit if they didn't see me or members of my family, you know, for weeks or months. So it must be something quite serious or specific if they were to make it a very public thing that Kai is kind of missing. And I want you guys to be aware that that's past tense. I assume that Kai is not missing, because Kai recently filled out paperwork to sue Chris Hansen and Repzion, as you guys are probably all aware. So there is a huge, very easy assumption that Kai is, you know, just not really going outside at all and staying indoors all the time. It does make you worry about their relationship, but I'm not the kind of person who likes to talk at length about people's relationships. But there's also a report about how Onision and Kai have been heard fighting. I don't know if that means physical altercation or if it's a more verbal confrontation, or both, perhaps. But it doesn't surprise me. And I'm sure it doesn't surprise any of you, right? With what's going on in their lives currently, I'm not surprised that they're arguing. I'm not surprised that they're having fights, that they're disagreeing on things, because they're both doing, you know, things that are like these various things that these alleged things, awful. The things that they've actually said, especially Onision, awful, idiotic, ridiculous. They are really digging themselves into a hole. And whilst, yes, Onision's shovel is a lot bigger than Kai's, Kai is not, you know, helping that situation one bit. The guy that called said there was a lot of yelling and pushing. Oh shit. And it doesn't surprise me. There is an audio of the neighbour reporting it. Should we listen to it? Should we listen to the audio? I have it ready. Would you like to? I haven't listened to it yet, so I thought I'd do it with you guys. We can listen to it. Yeah? One. Let's do it.
Thanks for holding. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi. I would like to call for a welfare check on a neighbor.
Okay, what's the address that you're requesting a check on at?
It is.
Redacted.
Can I make sure I have that correct mean?
Redacted.
Is that location a house,
Yes.
apartment, or mobile home?
That's a house.
Okay. And you said this is a neighborhood, so why are we doing a check on this location here?
You guys have been out to this neighborhood a few times for this particular address, and so I feel a little.
You can already tell that the neighbor is literally frustrated. Like, you've been here a couple of times already. You can even hear, like, the deep sigh in her voice.
Weird, even calling it in, but they are known YouTubers, and the spouse in it, Kai Jackson or Taylor Jackson, he has not been seen around the community or at child drop-off. We have a kindergartner in class together, and have not seen them or seen anything on their social media for a few weeks. Nobody has seen them, and there's a lot of drama surrounding his spouse Greg right now, and
Have you checked any of the jails or hospitals at first?
Yeah, so there's no information that's suggesting that they've been in custody or they're in the hospital or anything. They're just not around.
Okay, let me ask you a couple questions here first. What's your last name?
Redacted.
And your first name?
Redacted.
And if we could not release that to Greg Jackson and give him ammunition for our community, for his YouTubes, that would be great.
Okay, and what's a good number to call you back
Hi,
at?
Irish. Redacted.
Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, so when's the last time he was seen?
November 22nd.
All right.
Okay.
And what's the last name?
The last name is Jackson, Jackson.
You said the first name was Gregory, I think you said?
Gregory Jackson is the male, the spouse.
So who are you referencing then?
The spouse, the YouTuber. So I'm referencing his spouse, Kai, Kai, or Taylor, Taylor. I think legally he's still Taylor. It's a trans situation.
Taylor, and then just parentheses Kai, Kai?
Correct.
Okay, is Kai white, black, Asian, or Hispanic?
She's Caucasian.
Okay. And do you know her date of birth? If not, what's her approximate age?
She's around 25. I don't know her exact date of birth.
All right, that's fine. And how tall is she?
She's about 5'5", and she is very thin. She's very thin.
Okay. Do you know her hair color?
She's transitioning right now. Last I saw her, she had dark black hair, very, very short dark black hair.
All right. And does she do any drugs or drinking?
No, they do not.
All right. Do you know about her having medical or mental concerns?
No. I mean, I think that she probably has some mental issues being, in a relationship with Craig, but I don't.
Oh, sorry, I just had to pause it there. That was the perfect time to pause it. Wow. Yeah, she probably, Kai probably has issues being in a relationship with Greg. Even this fucking neighbor, like, understands shit. This neighbor's, like, on the money right now.
I don't know of anything specifically, no, sir.
Okay. Give me more here, Shanti. And you said the reason why you wanted to check here because nobody's ever heard about them before, and they're YouTubers?
Yeah, nobody has heard from her for a couple weeks, and she's a very, as far as all of her channels go, all of her social media, she is someone who posts very frequently, and she has not posted, they have not posted in very long
Thank you, Irish. I really appreciate it. Let's continue.
time, since mid-November, and most recently, I don't know how. Are you familiar with Chris Hansen? Anyway, there is a.
Have you heard of Chris Hansen?
There's been a thing going on with.
No. I just need to know some information here. So, just pretty much that she hasn't posted frequently, as usual, and no one's heard from her. And you did say something in reference towards she hasn't been to the child drop-off area?
Right. So she consistently drops off her children at school every day and picks them up every day. And we have not seen her at drop-off since the 22nd. Her kid is still consistently attending school, though.
Good.
Okay.
He's being dropped off by someone else.
It's interesting,
Okay.
isn't it?
And so I'm going to pass the information along here to do a check there, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. If anything does change or you hear anything different, then give us a call back, okay?
I will do so. Thank you so much.
All right, welcome, miss. All right, bye now.
Bye.
Honestly, it must be really hard being a neighbor to Onision and Kai. And it seems like this neighbor, this woman, she actually, like, watches the investigation and, like, she's watching what Chris Hansen is doing, or at least aware of what Chris Hansen is doing. It must be really difficult to be, like, neighbors with somebody like that and know that there are, like, things going on in that house that are, like, kind of, like, scary, or, you know, and then obviously hearing shouting and, you know, hearing, you know, and obviously the situation that happened with the child as well. It must be really, really scary. So yeah, obviously some of you guys are, you know, being a little bit of a bit nosy, aren't you? You're asking, you know, who is this unknown person? I assume there'd be a nanny or a babysitter. You know, despite what people think, I think that Onision and Kai still have a lot of money to their name, and I think that they can afford to purchase a babysitter or a nanny, or maybe it's a family member, perhaps. That wouldn't be surprising. There are specific people who I know from the family trees of both families that perhaps might be helping out. Yeah, exactly. You just don't know. I don't want to really assume any of that, though. But I remember, I don't know if this is actually canon, if it's actually, like, fact. But I remember there was a lot of people saying when the whole Chris Hansen knocking on the door thing happened, that there was somebody else in the house with Onision and Kai. I don't know if you guys remember that being said. I don't know who said that, if it was actually Chris who said that, or if it was somebody else. Canon, it's not Doctor Who. Thank you, Loz. Canon's a good word. I use the word canon to describe if things are, like, legit, if they're, like, factual or not. Hey, I'm a gamer, Jamie. Alright, leave me alone. Alright, if I want to use the word canon or anything like that, I'll do it. But thank you very much, Loz. That's real cool. Did Chris say it? Yeah. But speaking of what, like, Chris and co say, that kind of moves me on to my second part of the live stream, which I thought you guys would be really interested in maybe discussing with me a little bit more. I don't really know if there's anything else I need to discuss about Kai and Onision. It's pretty evident to me that their relationship is going through some difficult waters, with the allegations now being at their full kind of full velocity. You know, the police are aware, the sheriffs are aware. You know, it even said on the report that the FBI is aware and looking into it, which kind of confirms that unless those reports are incorrect, which I don't understand why they would be, right? The FBI is involved with, or has been for an indefinite amount of time with this whole situation. But I would like to now speak a little bit about what I found out more recently on Twitter, on my Discord. And that involves one of the alleged victims named Sarah, who recently put up a tweet on her page expressing how her laptop and her phone that she thought was being used to further the investigation did not further the investigation. And apparently, from what has been stated in the tweet, has just been sitting in New York, assumably on Vincent's desk, which is ridiculous, to say the least. And I want you to be aware, guys, I haven't got any facts of what I'm saying right now. I'm just going off tweets and what people are saying and what Sarah, the woman in question, said. So if I'm actually wrong, you know, I take what I'm saying with with a grain of salt, yeah? I think that's kind of valuable, but I wouldn't be fucking surprised. I mean, I don't want to, like, be shady towards Vincent, but the guy's literally, like, he's one hit on the head away from being a caveman, in my opinion. Like, The guy literally doesn't know which way up is. It's fucking hilarious. But let me show you the tweets. We can go from there. So this is Sarah's handle. Hopefully, this is all in keeping. And this is the receipt for Jenny Woods, who's asking in the chat. So the first one says, your girl has been lied to. My laptop was never sent to the FBI. It has been sitting in an office in New York for months with me thinking it was with the police. And I don't know if it's still up. Apparently it's been apparently she deleted it. Maybe she didn't. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked through her tweets to make sure if that's the case. But it's fucking interesting either way. Yeah, maybe they did. Maybe they did. But it's interesting to say the least. Let me move it back to main screen again. She deleted it but stated it was still true. Then why delete it? Is it because she was told to? I assume so. I assume, or maybe she didn't want like the backlash from posting it, but she wanted people to know. It's interesting. I mean, it doesn't go. I mean, I've been actually getting like a lot of people like patting me on the back recently, saying, you know, Loki, you made a good decision, kind of staying away from Vincent and not like sucking up to him like some other people did, and like befriending him. And I feel like that's just maybe some of you. I mean, I appreciate it, but yeah, some of you do come across a little bit petty towards those people who did. I don't think anybody really realized that Vincent was who he actually was, and I don't think we should harbor any negativity towards anybody who did, because it's like nobody. A lot of us, especially a lot of the commentators, we don't know who Vincent is. You know, we didn't know who this guy was. We didn't know he was a fucking like. An idiot who literally was false flagging people for making TCAP like videos and montages and reactions and stuff like that. We didn't know that was going on. No, that wasn't something that we were obviously aware. He was always a bit special. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff in this stream. I don't want to. Whilst I'm going to throw him through the mud a little bit, not that much, you know. But yeah, I think the thing is, right, is we see Chris, right? And Chris is an upstanding man. He has decades of experience in the business. He is like the perfect guy to have as like a face of an organization. You know what I mean? He's the face. And what Vincent was the background guy. He was supposed to be in the background doing things that Chris couldn't do or wouldn't do, i.e. the things that somebody of Chris's caliber shouldn't be doing, i.e. sieving through receipts, chasing leads. Chris needs to be focusing on actually, you know, his streams and his scripts and the things that he's going to say. He needs to focus on being a professional. And Vincent's job was to focus on feeding things to Chris to aid him in that. And what Vincent was doing up until, you know, recently, and when he obviously like shut down his account and then ended up reopening it later, was he was in no better way of saying it, he was literally making Chris look like an idiot. Like, and he was acting like a dog who wasn't on a leash. Like, he was just running around, barking at everybody, pissing on fire hydrants, and you know, shitting on the sidewalk. Like, you know, and Chris didn't have a doggy bag for him, so it was. it's interesting, isn't it? Would Sarah be able to get her laptop back? I assume so. It is her property. So, and I assume that Vincent wouldn't want to have like an actual problem on his hands. Bad imagery. Yeah, you can just imagine Yeah, let's not imagine Vincent squatting on a pavement taking a shit. And you know, it doesn't take away from the things that Chris has done, of course. And guys, I know what you guys are like. You're like, oh well, these people aren't perfect. Nobody's fucking perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect either, right? Calm down. Speaking of doggy, hope your doggy is well. Doggies, I have 2, and they are fantastic. They're actually up here right now. I might show them to you in a little bit, guys, if you want. I'll show you guys my pups, if you want. Who has a laptop? Apparently, Vincent still has it, which is interesting. Can you remember Vince promoting popcorn? I remember when he was sitting in that live stream and he was like eating like chips whilst the episode was going on, and it really gave like a bad vibe that like Vincent thought it was like pure entertainment. I don't know if you guys really got that vibe, if you guys agree with me on that. And I mean, at the time I kind of thought it was funny, but then again, I have that kind of sense of humor where I'm kind of dry and everything, you know what I mean? But it's not what I would expect from somebody who's supposed to be a professional. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I really didn't think that Chris and Vincent were that connected with the FBI. I didn't think that, you know, it's been played off like Chris and Vincent are literally an extension of the FBI. That's at least the way it's been coming across to me. Like, people who have been watching what I've been watching have been coming to my live stream saying, you know, we should be leaving this to Chris and Vincent. They're the real heroes of this story. They're gonna get things done. And I don't blame anybody for feeling that way. I can get it. It makes sense, because that's literally what we are being kind of falsely told, is that, you know, Chris and Vincent have all of the cards. They know what is going to happen next, and they can determine things. That's not the case. They're journalists. And at this extent, I don't even know if it's great journalism. You know, like the ambush journalism that Chris did recently, turning up at Onision's house uninvited and knocking on his door. You know, that's a very edgy type of journalism, and not a type of journalism that a lot of people appreciate. A lot of celebrities, whether famous or infamous, don't appreciate it. I just want you guys to be aware of that. It's quite antagonistic. Yeah, it definitely is. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, there's so much I can really say to this, but whilst I know I'm being quite critical right now, and I know there are people watching right now who are probably gonna be thinking, Loki, you sound like you're supporting Onision. You fuck off, and I'm not. Chris has done a lot to help, and Vincent has as well, right? But you shouldn't be giving these people so much credit, you know? Honestly, the people who actually deserve credit are the people who've been covering Onision for years, who have been following this, and those are the people who actually deserve appreciation and merit, in my opinion, because they've been keeping this shit alive, guys. They didn't just jump on it when it was hot, you know, and try and make some money off it, and spend almost every live stream complaining about the fact that they're not getting monetized on certain things, or only partly monetized. Like, they're actually like doing this shit for a long time, back when it wasn't cool to do this, and you weren't making money from doing this, you know? I'm just saying, yeah, Repsion and Stevie, right? Stevie Wolf. There are many others as well, you know, who have also done it, and I don't want to go through the list. I will say this: whilst I haven't been super excited in Chris's investigation as of late, I will be tuning in this week because Stevie Wolf is an interesting character, to say the least, and I want to hear what he's got to say. So I will be watching this week, and I hope that the rest of you guys will watch too. I think it's I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit of a revelation, but I just know I'm going to end up finishing that stream, and I'm going to be annoyed at Chris for asking leading questions again and saying, "Oh, what do you think would have happened?" You know, like, you know, he always does this, guys. He always does this. But we will see, right? You know, he's sexy, right? Oh, you know. Yeah, you guys have it. Stevie's sexy. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's really that on that. I hope Sarah gets her stuff back soon. I am aware that a lot of the alleged victims seem to be like young women who, you know, are from like kind of struggling families who, you know, were kind of easy for Onision and Kai to manipulate, and, you know, taking away like expensive devices away from somebody and holding them and not doing anything with them for months. It's really just kind of pisses me off, to be honest. So I hope Sarah gets her shit back soon. Because honestly, guys, I couldn't live without my phone, without my iPhone. I would, you know what? I'm actually probably going to downgrade my iPhone actually and try and save a little bit of money. But yeah, it is what it is. Chris got his fame from mainstream. That's suspect in itself. Image getting fired from Dateline because of an ambush interview that insulted. Yeah, you know, it's funny, isn't it? Like, the same tactics that got him in trouble before, he's doing now on YouTube. And to be fair, some people have said to me, yo, Loki, why did you never, like, try and go pro and, like, work for BBC? Obviously, you'd have to stop swearing, which would be difficult for you, you piece of shit. But, you know, you could have done that. You could have done that, and you could have gone down that route. And the reason why, and maybe this is maybe what Chris is thinking currently, is because as a live streamer, you have a lot of creative freedom. You know, you can choose what kind of content you do. You can choose how that you do it. So the kind of tactics that you can, you know, the way that you speak, the way that you act, the way that you portray yourself, your tactics as an interviewer. So maybe that's the thing. It's like Chris is like, well, now that I'm not with any company, I can do ambush interviews. I can follow people around town and follow them back to their house and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad vibe. It almost reminds me of like tabloid journalism, but you know, like, no matter what, I feel like no matter what Chris does, there are going to be things that I could nitpick and other people can nitpick about. The fact of the matter is, you know, I'm glad that all of the alleged victims, or a lot of them, had the opportunity to say their piece. They got an opportunity to have a platform where they could express themselves and raise awareness for other young women who could be in similar situations, other teenage girls and boys who aren't really aware of the problems that come with being on the internet, and more specifically engaging yourself with YouTubers and content creators like this. You know, it's like, you know, I can really appreciate that. And I know some people are like, oh yeah, and I know that Onision has been saying this, that a lot of the victims that are coming forward, they're doing it for money and they're doing it for clout. Like, I don't know if they're actually, I don't know if like Onision and his little cult is aware of this, but I really don't believe that a lot of these girls from that appearance on Chris's show are actually really got anything. You know, I don't think they got like any money for appearing, first of all. And I don't really feel like they got that many new followers or that many new like regular viewers or supporters, people who are going to like change their life. I really doubt it. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong on a couple of instances, but there was quite a few YouTubers who went on there too as well. I think some people don't realize that actually being on somebody else's show, whilst it's useful and you can gain some new viewers and supporters if you are a content creator, it's not going to make you famous overnight. It's not going to like change your life. You know, look at all of the people who've like, all of the smaller channels who have YouTube channels who've gone on there recently. How many, I mean, have they gained tens of thousands of subs? No, they haven't. Why is that? Because that's not how it works. So yeah. Didn't Chris say he doesn't pay for interviews? He does say that, but then again, if you were somebody who was doing a series exposing somebody that you assume to be a predator, would you be paying victims to come on your show? Or alleged victims for coming on your show? I don't really know if you would. I don't know if I would. I don't think I would. I don't think I would pay them. It doesn't really, I don't know if I would want to add money to something like that, because it makes it quite grubby. You know, like, and not from the alleged victim's perspective, but it's like, I'm giving them money for them to give me their story. I feel like it loses some level of credibility, and people can use that against me, and they can use that against the alleged victim. It's not practical, really. You know? Actually, all of the victims appearing on CH, a court could be called collusion, and an Onion might go free because of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know a lot about Law Blue, so I'm not really the right person to be saying that stuff to, but I do agree that I don't think that this case is as simple as a lot of people believe it to be. I do believe there have been things. I think there could be a measure of. I think Onision and Kai might win. They might fucking win. Depending on what information is brought forward. Like, you gotta remember, like, Repsion has been covering Onision for like years. Who knows what Onision has like saved from earlier in all of that. Things that Repsion said that were really, really bad or really unnecessary or slanderous. I genuinely feel it might not be so simple, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, I definitely agree, SW. I think that if anybody's in trouble in that, unless anything can be proven on James, it's Kai who's in trouble. But this case isn't about them, is it? It's about Repsion and Chris. Repsion and Chris are on the defense for this case. Exactly schizophrenic. Like, Repsion, if that's true, I did not know that was a thing. But things like that, things like calling parents and calling, you know what I mean? Like, this is all very personal stuff, and it can be seen as serious harassment. But we will see. It is really difficult to prove. That's why I don't think it's that simple. But there are so many cases, FG, where not just them, but many commentators have said things that could be considered slanderous. I think there are things that I've said that could have been considered slanderous, which is why I try to be careful. You know, why do people insert themselves into people's lives like that? Because they think they're doing something good. They think they're helping. That's the reason why a lot of people do that. Why they self-insert is because they believe that by self-inserting, they can make a situation better, either for themselves or for the people who's involved, right? That makes sense to me. Order of protection, basically a stay away from them pass. They hand them out like candy here. That's interesting. That's sad, but I can understand the pressure she must have been feeling. I'm gonna read more on this. Yeah, definitely do so. And if you guys do find anything out, I do have a Discord channel which is called like Show Discussion, and you're very welcome to post stuff in there that you guys think that might be useful for me in future live streams for me to discuss. I'm always interested in reading stuff and watching videos and whatnot. And if you guys find out anything, feel free to share that. You know, I have, Dean, and I'm not getting into it. A lot of commentators have gone into it already, and all I'm gonna say, Dean, is I completely agree with these other commentators. It's sick, it's awful. I can't believe it even happened. I wish it didn't happen, and I'm surprised that nothing came of it. Like, nothing happened because of it. Like, you know, CPS didn't take care of things. Because whilst you could say, oh, it's not my fault, it's like, yeah, but you weren't watching the child, and like, what the fuck you doing? Anyway, there is apparently a countersuit option to what Onision filed for. Really? That's interesting. We'll see what happens then. Very clearly, it's very clearly Emma, but I don't want to jump into it. Like, I have to agree with what some people have been saying about this. Like, some people are very unhappy that commentators have been talking about, and just various YouTube channels have been talking about the police report of the child, because they think that there are lots of YouTubers who are taking advantage of this neglectful behavior to make some money, to get views, and it's like exploiting the situation. You're exploiting that awful situation to get some engagement and get some views. Unless you're willing to actually offer something helpful to it, what's the point? And you know what? I can't really disagree with that. So I can't really disagree with that at all. So keep it real. I missed you, Loki, stream more, and good on you for not covering the other topic. I almost wish I didn't read and watch about it. Yeah. Stonewall, you're really cool. Thank you for the money. I really like your picture. It actually looks a little bit. I like that fucking anonymous mask shit. You know what I mean? Honestly, back when I had like black hair, and I used to have like proper like black hair and black facial hair, and it was really, really slick and really defined, I literally fucking looked like that dude. Same fucking nose, same stupid eyebrows, the same little fucking, what's it called? A fanny tickler, right? The little bit of hair that goes from your lip down to your. I've got the same shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's Guy Fawkes, Daddy Fawkes, right? Oh yeah, I'm hilarious, guys. Brenda finds me hilarious. That's why she watches me. Were you goth, Loki? Do you guys want to see a picture of me with dark hair? Do you want to see a picture? I'll find one. You'll love it, guys. Dick pic. No, I'm kidding. Ooh, bad date. Oh, my boy. Alright, one sec. Let me see if I can find it. Brown hair. Black hair. Christ, I'm actually struggling. I just remember this is my new phone and I didn't get all of my pictures back from back. Ooh, money. Onision is not suing. Rep. Court K is for RO. What's RO? What's RO? Help me. Help me, please. I need an adult. What's RO? Our restraining order. People have been saying that it is suing, though. Loads of people have been saying that. He didn't know RO? Fucking leave me alone, Bender! Alright, I'm focusing! Christ! Money. Yeah. So, yeah, but I've heard loads of people saying that it is suing. Okay, so question, guys. How much does it cost to hire legal... Do you even need legal representation for a restraining order? Because isn't Repsion like having... Isn't he setting up a GoFundMe so people can support him in court? Nope, no. I'm assuming that's for the first thing, right? That's to the first thing that I said, yeah? No, you don't need one. You don't need it, but you would be stupid not to get one. Okay, is that true, everybody? Yeah? You know what's interesting? Like, yeah, why would you... Huh, interesting. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about, like, Repsion himself, but it's like... If I... The thing about, like, a restraining order, like the one that I think Onision is going for, if he wins, isn't it true that, like, Repsion and Chris can't talk about Onision anymore? Isn't that, like, how it works? Because it's like a really specific type, right? Like, you can't talk about them, you can't contact them, you can't contact their family, etc., right? That's some serious shit, innit? Okay, now that I'm thinking about that, yeah, it's a gag order, essentially. It's a gag order. now that I'm thinking about it, it would kind of make sense why Repzion would want to have legal representation in that, because if he loses that, then he is gagged. He can't talk anymore about Onision, and he can't like continue to fight against what he's doing, right? Yeah, it would shut down Repzion's Onision videos. Yeah, exactly. And same with Chris too. Yeah, I doubt Onision. Yeah, honestly, like, what I'm trying to say, Hydra, throughout this second part of my live stream is I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as people believe, but I also at the same time do not think that Onision is going to easily win, or that he could win easily. I don't know. We will see. We will see what happens. You know, like I'm only saying what I think, right? But it's interesting. See, I really wish I knew more about law, and I know some people would. Maybe I don't know who would say this, but I know some idiot is probably going to say, you know, like, do your research, Loki. Well, you know, fuck you. Yeah, UK is obviously different. When is this court hearing? I don't know when it is. I guess we'll find out, won't we? Yeah, we have talked about all of that, Pinky, unfortunately. Yeah, it's interesting to say the least, isn't it? Is it in a couple of days' time? Fucking Christ. Well, I wish Repzion and Chris Hansen best of fortune in that. Sounds fucking scary, doesn't it? He wouldn't be able to speak to family, personal friends, Onision. He couldn't contact them directly, but he would be able to speak about Onision as a public figure. Oh, okay. So it doesn't really sound like that much of a problem then. Ellie, thank you. Thanks for the dono. I appreciate that. Money. But yeah, it's all happening. So I guess it wouldn't be that big of a deal then. I just don't know, do I? I don't know. So I don't know if it would be a big deal or not. Monty, what's going on, man? Good to see you here, man. Thank you for the dono. I appreciate it. It will be interesting to see how it turns out. Yeah, definitely. And I don't know enough about fucking, like, especially because America is so, like, broad when it comes to law. Like, every single state has, like, different rules, and they're all, like, overlapping, and you got some really, really ridiculous fucking laws out there. You know what I mean? Which I really do not appreciate. Can we talk through Discord during After Dark? Am I doing an After Dark tonight, guys? Guys, are we doing it? Should we do it? Should we do an After Dark? Yeah, honestly, I've been playing with the idea of doing like letting people talk to me and having like voice chat stuff for After Dark. I've been feeling like I kind of want to talk about some things that I haven't really talked about on live streams for a long time. A lot of people have been asking me recently like what's going on with me and why I don't really stream as much as people would like me to, and you know, I feel like I kind of want to talk about it today. On that stream. I won't be leaving it up, obviously, but if you're there, you're welcome to listen to what I have to say. And we can kind of go from there. You'll maybe be able to learn something a little bit more about me. Yeah, it's on this channel. It's on this channel. But honestly, I feel like I'm ready to finish this live stream today. I don't want it to be any longer than an hour, because I feel like an hour is pretty perfect for these at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish things here. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening to my opinions. And remember, guys, these are just my opinions. If you do have a different opinion, try and be respectful about it. Obviously, but with that in mind, I will see you guys in, I'd say, 5 minutes. I'll start the live stream up straight away. I'll grab a drink and we can chill and talk on Discord. That sounds fun. Let's do it. After Dark. Yeah, we'll do After Dark. Let's rock and roll. FG, thanks for being here. Yeah, guys, everybody who is leaving, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one, whichever, but peace out, guys. Bye, guys.